I'm talking to the beautiful Roxanne, and she is a very dear old friend of mine from South Africa. She has a very unique business. She's got some incredible stories to tell of the challenges that she's overcome in her life, and she's an incredibly inspiring woman. So I'm very delighted to be talking to her today.
I do natural dyeing. I use natural fabrics and I create beautiful colors, natural colors, by using food waste and plant waste that I collect from local farms that surround me. I live in this little town called Ruby Castile, just outside Cape Town in the Western Cape. Take food waste, things like onion skins and avocado skins and old tea bags and coffee grinds, and I turn them into dyes and dye fabrics. First of all, natural dyeing has been around for thousands and thousands of years. So places like in South America and in Asian countries. But how I kind of stumbled across it was I've always kind of been into sort of things like crocheting and knitting at home one day, and I stumbled across a YouTube video. I can't remember the girl's name, but she was dyeing with avocado skin. And I thought that's like incredible. What's going on? Like and I went in and I watched the video, and then I don't know if you've done this before, but you kind of like go down this rabbit hole of videos, and so the one followed after the other, and eventually I was like, this is incredible. What can't you dye with? And then I tried it out, and it just became something that I did at home as a hobby. First started off as, like I said, me just sort of dyeing up some cushions, having them made and then selling them. I've kind of been doing this now it started in 2019. Funny because last year it kind of, obviously with COVID and everything, it kind of sort of stopped in a way, because obviously we couldn't do anything, we couldn't go anywhere, I kind of over those few months just worked on actually strengthening my dyeing skills. So there was no selling of anything through those months. But I then realized that with the way that things were going, that I could actually turn it into an online business, and I could make up these products and then put them online. And
when I was 19 years old, we had an unplanned pregnancy, and I had fallen pregnant with my daughter Tara. She is now 14 years old. When Tara was 3, she had been diagnosed with a severe form of epilepsy, which progressed into over 100 seizures a day within a matter of weeks. She was not able to feed herself, to go to the toilet, to walk, to stand. I kind of assessed the situation and realized that, nothing was changing and it was just not going anywhere. I went online and started researching the ketogenic diet that I had heard of. I then was referred to a dietitian who started Tara onto the diet immediately, and really between 2 to 4 days we had noticed that the seizures had reduced very slightly, and that went from just a few days to a week, and every week that went by the seizures reduced more and more until she was clinically seizure free. We are celebrating our 6th seizure-free milestone. She suffers with global developmental delay, and that was a direct result of the damage that the seizures caused to her brain. It was then that I had made the decision to give up my career and to homeschool her, because I felt very strongly like I was her best fighting chance, because if anyone was going to put effort or enough effort into her, it was going to be me as her mother. Your question was about resilience. This is just my small little take on how I feel about that. You see, the decisions and sacrifices that we made led us to where we are today as a family. We had no control over our situation with Tara. We had no control over the aftermath of what the epilepsy had done. However, we had the choice on how to react to our situation. We were able to equip ourselves with the tools that we needed to face each part of the unknown journey that we had now found ourselves on. There was a lot of growth and a lot of learning that was involved.
It's a really interesting process, and it's probably my most favorite part of what I do. Basically, I collect the waste. So it's something that the fruit or the food or the plant has already been used. I collect that waste. I take it. I then turn it into a dye. I take the dye water, once I've dyed the fabrics, and I take the dye water, I pour it back into, we've built a vegetable garden that feeds, we are a home of a family of 6 people. So we've built this beautiful vegetable garden. All the dye waters and all the plant waste go back into the garden. So we create compost with the plant waste. We use the waters to water. And any water that is used, I like to harvest rainwater, which obviously takes it that one step further by not wasting tap water. But any water that I use is then poured into our grey water system, which then waters our gardens as well. So basically, you're doing this sort of, it focuses on a circular economy. You kind of start from the ground, it all gets used, and then it works itself back into the ground again, which I think is something quite beautiful.